Good evening, everyone. It's called administrative meeting call to order. Let's bow our heads. Lord and Savior, thank you for this day, Lord. Lord, we ask you to protect the just as well as the unjust, oh Lord. Oh Lord, we ask you to give us the wisdom and knowledge of the leaders of the parish, oh Father God. Renew our hearts and our minds. Oh Lord, just protect us from all harm and dangers. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Follow me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
President report, none. Legal counsel,
None.
any call for additions and deletions to administrative committee?
Yes, Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
we have 3 additions to the administrative committee I'd like to add.
Yes, sir.
Item number 7, discuss and appoint Ashley Hadwin or Betty Carter to the Planning Commission serving a 6-year term. You'll just go
Okay.
through all of them
Yeah,
first, or go
yeah.
one by one on them?
I think we'll just do all at one time.
All right, item number 8, approve the recommendation by the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission suggesting implementing a moratorium for a period of 1 year on subdivided land if the lots are 1 acre or larger and do not have frontage to an existing parish or state-maintained roadway unless they meet all the DeSoto Parish subdivision regulations requirements. And to add item number 9, approve the recommendation by the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission suggesting implementing a moratorium for a period of 6 months on all future subdivisions to disallow the selling of any lots by the developer utilizing the statement, "Clear title is not available on any lot until all improvements and installations have been made," as a stated condition in Part 3, Section D3 in the DeSoto Parish subdivision regulations. The developer will be allowed to sell lots if one of the 3 remaining conditions listed in Part 3, Section D1, D2, D4 are met.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. We have a motion to add those to the agenda.
So moved.
I got a motion by Mr. Jones. Do I have a
Second.
second? Second by Mrs. Boyd. A roll call vote, Mr. Baker.
Aye.
Mrs. Burrell. To add to the agenda.
Yeah, so we can discuss.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Jones.
Aye.
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 All the ayes have favor. We'll add those 3 items to the administrative items. Guests and public comments. Mr. Richard Jefferson. Is he here? Guess not. Administrative item, please.
All right, administrative items. Authorize the president to sign a resolution to declare certain movable property surplus and schedule a sale of surplus as per state law.
So move.
Have a motion by Mr. Baker and a second by Mr. Parker. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All right, motion passed. Item number 3, adopt ordinance 1 of 2024, authorizing an ad valorem exemption for first responders.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Latham,
Second.
second by Mr. Baker. Any discussion? Mr. Parker?
I don't understand the purpose of this myself. The legislature has already given them a $7,500 exemption. It's not been implemented yet, but it will be implemented as soon as the tax assessors get the information from the state as to how they're gonna do this. And if we give them 2,500 more, that gives them a $10,000 more exemption than any other citizen. If you're gonna do it for one, we need to do it for the whole dang state of Louisiana.
I got something to say.
Okay.
Can I speak?
Mr. Latham?
I understand your concern, Mr. Parker. And I put this on the agenda. And the reason why is because this amendment was voted on in our last election. And you're right, first responders will get $10,000 exemption. So everyone gets $75,000, and first responders will now get $85,000. But we voted on this as people, and the people passed it in DeSoto Parish, and they also passed it statewide. So I'm with you, Mr. Parker. I agree with you, but the only reason that I'm going to be for this is because the people voted on it and it passed.
Mr. President,
Mr. Parker?
I'll use up my second time. When this was voted on by the people, and I've talked to several people, no one that I've talked to knew about the $7,500 from the state. I didn't know about it at the time that I voted for it. But now that I know about it, I'm not forgiving them that. Their job is no different than your job or my job or anybody else sitting in this room. I chose my profession, you chose yours. You knew the danger of your job, I knew the danger of mine, and the people sitting out there know the danger of their job. That's what they wanted to do to make a living. I don't think they should be, I don't think the other citizens of this parish should be discriminated against because they're not a first responder.
I'll respond to that.
Anybody else want to speak?
I'll respond to that if I may.
Well, I want to respond first.
Sure,
Let
go
me
ahead.
respond. I kind of agree with Mr. Parker. I'm going to be honest with you. I was raised on a dairy farm. My dad was a dairy farmer. He worked 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He had no off days. He had no vacation. He had no sick days. And he had to pay all of his taxes. These people, our sheriff's department, just taking our sheriff's department, for instance, I don't know how much vacation they accrue in the years they worked there, but I do know for a fact they get 19 vacation holidays a year, plus they get vacation. And, you know, they, like I said, they're important people. But, you know, why are we gonna pick those people to give an exemption to? I can tell you what my idea is, part of it, and just like most of our state representatives who put bills before the legislature down there, they're looking to be reelected. They take care of the teachers, and they're gonna take care of these first responders because these are votes for them. And that's why they do a lot of this. But, you know, I just feel like, Mr. Parker, if one group of people deserve it, every group of people deserve it. And that's my say. Now, Mr. Latham, you wanted to speak again.
Sure.
Nobody can tell you how much it's gonna cost.
I understand your personal convictions on this matter. I have the same personal convictions myself. But when we have thousands of people in our parish and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousand people in the state vote for this and it pass by a really good majority, it's hard for me to deny it to the people. Now, we pass it, you can put it back on the ballot, and people can be informed on what it means, and they can vote it off. But when we have a major majority of our citizens vote and pass it, hundreds of thousands and tens of thousands in our parish, it's hard for me to vote this no.
Can anybody in DeSoto Parish tell me how much money this is gonna cost the jury when we lose this tax dollar? Nobody's been able to answer it so far. How many first responders do we have in DeSoto Parish that's gonna qualify for this? So how much money are we gonna lose? Are you gonna be able to go to a citizen that you just got through telling him I'm gonna fix your road for $20, $30, $40, $50,000, and then you lose that money because of this tax break that you give to first responders, and you have to tell him, I can't fix your road now, you're gonna drive over a patch road that's gonna knock your front end out of line every time you go down? I don't want that on my show.
I was just gonna say, maybe
Mr. Arnell.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if the citizen was aware that the legislature was working on a bill for the first responders tax breaks during that time, during the election time.
I'm gonna speak one more time on this situation, and the fact is, the legislature did pass it, but they also gave this body the authority to put it into action. So that right there tells you how much they felt about it. If that was the case, if they wanted to do it, and they wanted to take responsibility for it, they should have done it. But they're not wanting to take responsibility for it. They're wanting us to take responsibility for it. You know, if they want to cut our taxes, they could do it at any time right down there in Baton Rouge for everybody. But no, they want to shift the blame to us, put it to us. It's going to be up to each one of us, and we're going to have to face the people that we represent. So they didn't go all the way with it. They went part way, but they left it to us to finish. So,
I just wanna say,
Ms. Burrell, yes,
we don't agree often, Mr. Holmes, but this time we do. And certainly, when I voted for it, I wasn't aware of any of this. I'm thinking I'm doing something good, and that's what I be talking about being honest with the people. Let the people know, so they'll have a clear understanding as to what they are voting on. And I'm quite sure most of these people that voted it wasn't aware that the state was gonna pass it, and they not aware that, as you say, they ain't telling them how much, tell them from the jump how much this gonna cost the taxpayer. And, hey, do it over, cause I don't think if you did it again, it'll pass.
you want to say something else, Mr. Lane?
With all due respect to everyone on this jury, I know we have not talked to over 100,000 citizens in Louisiana to know if they knew it was on that ballot. All we know is they voted, and they voted to pass the amendment by overwhelming majority.
Any more discussion? Mr. Nick?
I'd like to make a motion to move it to next month just to get more information about it. Can we do that?
If you can get a second.
I'm like Mr. Parker, I don't know how much money the parish is gonna lose by doing this.
I don't really feel like there's any way to find out unless we knew exactly how many
I mean, and the
first responders we
is
have,
it-
and we'd have to look and see how much each one pays in taxes.
But is it DeSoto first responders or any first responder that lives in DeSoto?
You tell me?
I mean, that's,
Which first responders does it take care of? Firemen? Police officer, sheriff department? Does it take care of constables?
Say peace officers.
You know,
It says peace officers.
that's right. Constable is also. So there's a lot of, does it take care of them just as the time that they're a peace officer, or does it cover them when they retire? Are they gonna have this for the rest of their life? You know, we got sheriff that's retired. He makes $200,000-something a year. Does he deserve it?
Exactly,
No.
no.
He's making subdivisions and subdividing, and he's going on with his life, and it's not hurting him a bit to pay this extra little bit of tax. Ms. Boyd?
Basically, what I'm looking at is that, from what Mr. Parker is saying, we voted, and I'm like Ms. Burrell, thinking I've done something that was favorable and voted yes, not possibly understanding that down the road that they were already had, you're stating how much, Mr. Parker?
$7,500 that the state's gonna give them.
That the state is gonna give them $7,500. Now, I understand what you're saying as well. Okay, the people voted, but there are still too many minuses versus pluses for me to say a yes, because again, I would like to know how much money we would lose, because we are in dire need of roads being worked on. So it's a lot of unanswered. The only answer that I got out of this is that the people voted. But until they weren't, several people probably, as stated on this jury, that they were unaware of what they were voting for, or they voted with the mindset that, hey, these are our first responders, this is something that we need to do. So,
Anybody else have a comment? Let's vote.
I'd like to change mine, I hit the wrong button.
Okay, you go ahead.
I have master boot. First one, master problem.
I think I did. It's not taken, I guess.
Did mine do?
No, ma'am, it's still showing.
Yeah, yeah.
What about now?
No, it's showing one of us.
No, ma'am.
Let me hold it.
And you get signed right up the back.
All right, motion fail. All right, item number 4, discuss and take action on selling the property at the sheriff's training facility to the sheriff's office located at 120 Sprocket Lane. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Parker,
Second.
second by Mr. Raines. Any discussion?
Sir,
Yes, Mr. Parker.
I'd like to make an alternate motion that we sell the property to the sheriff at market value, and that all proceeds from the sale be dedicated to the jail fund.
I have a motion, an alternate motion.
That it be dedicated, the money be dedicated to the jail fund.
Gonna be doing.
Have an alternate motion.
Second.
Can I get clarity?
so what?
Jail fund at the new jail or the old jail?
Jail fund. Whatever this jury decides to do with the jail situation, that money will be used for.
How did they come up with this amount?
Have a motion?
He made, and
Oh, Mr. Ross made second.
Second.
On the alternate, we have an alternate motion by Mr. Parker and a second by Mr. Ross. Any discussion on the alternate motion?
Yes, okay. This goes back to what I'm saying about being honest. Let's be honest now, cause this just a unique way to place this money for the new jail. Let's be honest about it, cause that's really what we really doing. That's what it's gonna be. Because instead of, it's so that gonna take away from the money the sheriff supposed gonna lend us.
No.
And then, I mean, we'll take away from, if they got this money in jail fund, that mean it can be used to build a jail. That's what I want, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being honest. Being honest, Ms. Parker, with the taxpayer. Y'all know what this is. Just be honest about it, cause that's what it is.
I'd like to know, what kind of, this is all before I came on the jury. What kind of deal do we have with the, sheriff's department on that property? Does he lease it from us? Does he just use it? Or, what?
He leases it from us. There's a 99-year lease.
Yeah?
And he makes all improvements to the property at his expense.
And if he decided tomorrow he didn't want that property or to use that property anymore, where would it go to?
Well, we currently own it, so it would come back to us.
Okay, so why all of a sudden is he wanting to buy it? He's got a 99-year lease on it. He can use it for the rest of his term and for years after. Why would he want to spend $50,000 to buy this property from us?
That's a question you're gonna have to ask the sheriff. He just asked me
I
that.
don't understand it. I kind of like the deal we have right now. Let's save him $50,000 and keep it like it is. And if he decides tomorrow he don't want it anymore, then we've got a building over there. Do we have any income from it, Mr. Latham, no.
Not that I know
Got
of.
like a 99-year lease for a little or nothing, more than likely.
Yep.
I'm not for giving away our property too much,
Me
me personally.
That ain't our cause.
At the end of the day, I'm be correct,
Mr. Fuller?
at the end of the day, even if the sheriff did own the property, and we're still responsible for it.
No.
No,
we would
he's
not be
keeping it up.
responsible for it. He would be responsible for the property.
He's responsible for it now, right? He keeps it up, doesn't he?
Correct.
Yes, that facility he built, the sheriff's department built, it was built before he became sheriff, but, they built it, they upkeep it, they take care of it. It's on our land. So if he decided tomorrow he doesn't want to use it anymore, he wants to build another facility, then it's ours.
It's ours, and it'll be way more valuable to us if he decides to, go away.
What is our income for that lease?
I'd have to go and find pull the lease. It's probably a standard 99 year with a $1. Right.
$1, that's
$1.
a year,
What?
a year.
$1 a year?
That's
$1 a year?
mostly, most of the leases we have are like that, at 99, 50-year leases for about $1.
Well, I think we need to get 50,000 plus the remaining of our $99. Loss of income. Any more discussion on the alternate motion?
Repeat the alternate motion, Mr. Mayor.
I beg your pardon?
Can you repeat that alternate motion for us? Oh, that's it right there?
The alternate motion is
Okay.
discuss and take action selling the property.
Okay.
No?
No,
What is alternate?
Jail fund.
Oh, and to,
Go to the jail.
and it would go to the jail fund.
It's up there.
That's not-
Original?
that's not
No, that's
new
the
jail.
alternate. You voted
No,
on
we got
alternate
to vote on alternate first, and then it would go to alternate, back to the original.
Whether we build a new jail, we spend it on that. If we decide we're gonna refurbish the old jail, that money.
Any
would go
more
to that.
discussion?
It's not going to.
And this
It's what this jury
$50,000,
decides.
that property worth more than $50,000 right now in the present
it-
state.
That's why I said market value.
Yeah.
It'd be appraised and he'll pay market value for it.
But now, he had it
And
appraised.
He may have
That
it
is
appraised
a-
already.
We've had it
Right.
appraised, the appraisal came in at 50,000, but that was for property only, that was not for the facility. If you
Yeah,
look in
but
your
if
packet.
If we sold it to somebody else, it wouldn't be property only. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be property only.
All right, any more discussion?
What do we vote on, this?
All right,
Yeah, voting on the alternate.
vote on the alternate motion.
By Mr. Parker made. I know. Thank you.
Motion passed. All right, item number 5, authorize the president sign a resolution approving the issuance, sale, and delivery of a taxable excess revenue bond of Waterworks District Number 1 of the parish of DeSoto, State of Louisiana, in the amount not exceeding $500,000, and providing for other matters relating thereto.
So move.
Have a motion by Mr. Baker,
Second.
second by Ms. Boyd Simpson. Any discussion? If not, oh, Mr. Parker, I'm sorry.
Are we gonna be responsible for this money?
According to what I have heard, we're not.
No, sir.
They're, from what I've understood, they're not even gonna sell the bonds. They just have to show that they are able to sell the bonds in order to get the money that they need from a grant. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. An LDH grant, 100% funded.
Any more discussion? If not, we'll vote. Okay, motion passed. Item number 6, approve the updated rules and bylaws. Do I have a motion?
So move.
I second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Since we went on, to the conference, I really hadn't had a chance to read all the way through these, bylaws. I really wanna see what's in there, had anything changed or what? Cause sometimes we be voting on stuff that we don't realize that's what we voted, and then when you question it later on, it be back. Well, in 2024, y'all voted to do. So I want to make an alternate motion to defer this to next month's meeting, so we'll have an opportunity to read over these bylaws to make sure what changes. And I'm quite sure I'm not the only one who got to read them all, or what changes has been made, if any.
And I second.
I have a motion and a second for an alternate motion to defer until next month. Any discussion on a motion and a second alternate?
The only changes in here are the meeting days since we went to the third Monday.
And secretary still
And,
doing that.
When your secretary's gonna get your packets out to you.
Right.
No later than when, okay.
All the changes are highlighted.
I was
Yeah,
about
they're
to say,
highlighted in
are all
yellow.
the changes highlighted?
Yes.
Yes, changes are highlighted.
It was just an update to make it consistent with your meeting months, you changed your meeting dates, and that was not reflected appropriately in your bylaws. And then you had asked the parish secretary to send out packets earlier, so we updated that to be reflected in Rule 2. The order of business, I don't remember exactly what we changed on that on page 34.
Y'all have been holding order of business contrary to what's in the bylaws, so those were just changed to coincide with the order of business that y'all have on your agendas. You can go back and look at the past meetings, compare that.
This here,
That's what I
this here
want
doesn't
to
make it
go
law, I
back
mean.
and look.
Sir?
I'm just saying, this vote doesn't make it law. This just
No,
carry
this
it
just
over
gets
to
it to the committee,
over
so
to
y'all
the
take it
next-
to the
to the
regular.
next
meeting.
meeting.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Get it out of committee.
There's one change there that has been failed to be mentioned here, that according to our old bylaws, it took 2 seconds for any motion to get before this floor. And we've never observed that law, that rule. We've always accepted 1 second, but in our old bylaws, it stated 2 or more seconds. We've never accepted that. We never went by that. We always just took, if we got 1 second, then we moved it on and went to discuss it and everything. In the new bylaws, it just requires the 1 second, is basically what it says in there.
Pretty much like
You're
we're doing
talking
now.
under Article 3, Rule 3?
I believe it's under Article 3.
Yeah, right there highlighted, it says, the only change that was made was voting shall be recorded electronically or by roll on resolutions, ordinances, and agenda items upon a motion of a police juror and a second by a different police juror.
But
Yeah,
the old-
that's what y'all been doing this whole
The
time.
old bylaws stated there would be 2 seconds.
Right, right.
I mean, you have discussed this before, so I know you
So
know
this
about
one
it.
is the first.
That must have been a typo.
It could
That's
have
what they
been,
claim, but the deal is, when you pass it out to us, and that's what I got when I first became a juryman, the bylaws I got then stated there would be 2 seconds. We never observed that.
We never said.
so that-
But it was
so-
no,
You don't observe what you
thinking-
don't.
it was no great big issue. I just wanted to make sure the public knew that that was in there, and that was one of the changes was made to the bylaws to what we're trying to vote on here today.
Well, that's exactly.
Well, I call for the question on this.
Do you want to go ahead with your motion to carry it to next month, or you want to go ahead and
Yeah.
carry it to next meeting? You got 2 weeks
Next
to,
month.
Yeah, so it's-
huh? Ms. Burrell?
Just as long as I had the opportunity to look over, cause I don't trust just ain't somebody highlighting. I want to compare it to the bylaws we have now, cause I want to know what's changed.
Well, it would still come up before the administrative committee in
Regular
2
meeting.
weeks.
The regular
if-
meeting.
Yeah.
At the
I
regular
don't
meeting.
know if y'all heard me, Mr. Chair, I did call for the question.
Oh.
And y'all still talking down there, so I don't know
No,
if
we
you
didn't-
heard
we
me.
didn't
or
hear
what.
you.
Recognize him and vote on that then, but
All right, no more discussion, vote on it.
Thank you.
All right, alternate motion failed. We have a original motion to approve and update the rules and the bylaws. Like I say, it'll still go before the regular committee, so we can,
In 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So let's vote on the original motion.
Order.
yeah.
If the, my understanding, if the other motion failed, then the original motion passes, right?
No, you vote on the
Got to
original
vote on the other
motion.
one as well?
You vote on it,
Vote on it.
And that was voted in.
Original motion.
because they could both hypothetically fail.
Okay, then, don't approve.
You vote
I
on the
said
original
yes, so
motion.
now I'm finna say approve.
I mean, you got 2 weeks to review it.
I done already.
I'll need a, proposed by and a second.
You need who the motion was by?
Yes, sir.
The original motion was by Mr. Baker, and the second was by me.
Read all this. It's highlighted. Okay, well, there's that. Okay, so that one's done.
That ain't voting slow. They voting slow, it didn't move. So, Mr. Parker,
I'm like Mr. Burrell now, I'm mashing this button. I went through that.
I think y'all using
All
that
right,
as a
the
crutch.
original motion passed. All right, item number 7,
Oh, Lord, I forgot.
discuss and appoint Ashley Hadwin or Betty Carter to the Planning Commission serving a 6-year term.
So move.
Have a motion by Mr. Jones,
Are they here?
I don't think so.
second. Second by Mr. Raines. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Burrell.
I stated in the last meeting concerning, we having representation on this end. And we really do need some representation on this end, plus the fact we have some people on the board already that's ethically not supposed to be there. Cause if you building houses or dealing with anything with building houses, you shouldn't be on the board. According to when I called and asked several people, it's just ethical, and it's not. So, I'm asking that y'all give the people on this end, the constituent on this end, of opportunity to have some representation, cause we have none. Not to mention, there is no blacks, not one black on this board. Minority, period.
Any more discussion?
So we're,
We're gonna vote on this to take it to the meeting next, in 2 weeks to actually vote on the individuals.
right.
Right.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Unless somebody makes an alternate motion, that's what the result would be.
All right, so this will go to the full jury in 2 weeks to bring it before them. Any more discussion?
Yes, a question.
Yes, Mr. Fuller.
As for representation, are we supposed to be doing it like the fair and evenly as much as possible? I mean, Ms. Barrera, we've been trying to get Ms. Carter on this board forever. It seems like every time a name comes up, it's pushed away or something happened. Like, all we trying to do is to get representation on this end. And so I just want us to, consider that, like I say, before we make our vote, when we make our vote, that we consider what, that this part of the parish wants to be represented as well.
Okay. All right, motion passed. Let's vote on these two individuals in 2 weeks. On item number 8, approve the recommendation by the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission suggesting implementing a moratorium for a period of 1 year on subdivided land if the lots are 1 acre or larger and do not have frontage to an existing parish or state-maintained roadway unless they meet all the DeSoto Parish subdivision regulations or requirements. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Mr. Ross? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Simpson. Any discussion? We can discuss now.
Mr. Holmes, would you please read that again for me?
All right,
I can read up on the thing.
approve the recommendation by the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission. They're suggesting implementing a moratorium for a period of 1 year on subdivided land if the lots are 1 acre or larger, and if they do not have road frontage on an existing parish or state-maintained roadway, unless they meet all the DeSoto Parish subdivision regulations and requirements.
So break that down to them. What that mean, Mike?
For 1 year, not gonna sell any property in these subdivisions, right?
No, 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 that's not what it means.
I ain't
Yeah,
think
that-
so. See,
Because
that's
it's
what I'm
right.
saying about-
In your handout, you have the subdivision regulations.
That's what I was gonna ask
Page
for.
3, regulations, we have it highlighted there what this is addressing. And it has a clause in there that says, these regulations shall not apply to, and this is the DeSoto Parish subdivision regulations. And it has a statement here, petition of land when all resulting lots are 1 acre or larger in area, and no street or road construction or major street right of way is involved. So if you subdivide property with 1 acre or larger and you don't build any streets, you don't have to come before the planning commission, you don't have to follow any of these regulations. And where we're seeing some trouble right now with that is, if you have a 2 mile, or say a half mile long driveway, and you've been there for 10 years, but now you wanna sell lots along that driveway, you don't have to come before the planning commission, you don't have to follow any regulations, you can subdivide 1 acre lots or larger along that driveway. There's no turnaround for a school bus or a fire truck.
Right.
There's no improvements to the road, and there's no agreement to who's gonna take care of the road. So that's that's one situation that they're addressing here. Others might be oil field roads or deer lease roads or things like that, but that's what this is doing. It's clarifying that statement, no street or road construction, and it's basically changing that to say that, that it has to be on existing parish roadway or state roadway. That's the only way that you can circumvent the regulations if you're subdividing an acre or larger on an existing parish maintained roadway.
Question. So they can subdivide 0.95 acres?
No.
No, it has to be larger, not smaller.
Anything less than an acre has to come before the planning commission now.
Okay,
This is just the 1 acre or larger that was exempted.
gotcha.
It's fixing the exclusion.
What page are you on, Mike?
I don't,
Page,
It was
I'm
in-
sorry, page 1, I think I
Okay.
said 3 a minute ago.
did say
Page
3.
one. So,
Oh, I see where it's tried to be highlighted. Okay.
yeah, part C.
But can I ask a question?
Mr. Fuller? Yes.
I mean, it says, planning commission made that recommendation, or y'all, we making that recommendation at the jury?
I proposed it to the planning commission
Okay.
as the parish engineer, and they approved to move forward, and I'm just explaining it on behalf of the planning commission at this point. This is coming from the planning commission.
Right.
So if they build a subdivision, right, and they use our road to go to this subdivision, that don't mean we gonna have to take in all the rest of these streets and that's what
not
I'm
part of
trying.
this, no, ma'am. That's not addressing it. And just the underlying premise of this, you notice it has the timeline in there. We're currently rewriting the entire regulation in its entirety. This is just a fix to get us by until we get those new regulations to you to approve. That's what the end game is here, to rewrite our entire regulation, fix some of these problems. With this moratorium, that's why we chose that moratorium wordage, verbiage there to put this in place for this next year to give us time to complete these subdivision rewrites.
Yeah, 'cause
So at the end of the 1 year,
out of road that we can afford.
at the end of the 1 year, and you get all this fixed, what is it gonna be?
At the end of the 1 year, if we
For
do
the-
not have a new regulation approved by then the moratorium falls off the books and goes back to the way it currently is now.
If you don't
They
have
would just have to
anything
go
in
to,
place.
before the planning commission.
Right.
Okay,
Fully expect to have it done in that time period.
okay.
Okay.
Any more, discussion on that?
It's really protecting us as a jury. This is what it's doing.
Yeah, so it would be responsible for all of
Any more discussion? If not, vote.
Sorry about that. Stay up there, Mike.
All right, motion passed. All right, item number 9, approve the recommendation by the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission suggesting implementing a moratorium for a period of 6 months on all future subdivisions to disallow the selling of any lots by the developer utilizing the statement, "Clear title is not available on any lot until all improvements and installations have been made." As a stated condition in Part 2, Section D3, in the DeSoto Parish subdivision regulations, the developer will be allowed to sell lots if one of the 3 remaining conditions listed in Part 3, Section D1, D2, and D4 are met.
So move.
All right, Mr. Ross, have a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
That was discussed.
Second by Ms. Simpson. Any discussion on this, or you
Explain
wanna
now.
go ahead and,
Okay.
go ahead and explain it to us, sir?
If you turn to page 3 of the regulation, at the bottom of the page, you'll see the statement for final approval, and this is allowing the developer to move forward with selling lots. At final approval from the planning commission, says, upon inspection and approval by the planning commission, the developer may record and approve the plat with the DeSoto Parish Clerk of Court and sell lots, providing that one of the following conditions have been met. And that's what we're addressing with this moratorium. If you flip to the next page, you'll see those 4 conditions. And condition number 3 is the one we're addressing today. It says, it is written on the plat that clear title is not available on any lot until all improvements and installations have been made. Currently, that's what all the developers are using. They're using that statement on the front of the plat. And to the best of my research, discussing this with a few bankers, that statement means nothing and nobody's paying attention to it. And what it's excluding, it's circumventing point number 1 and point number 2, which point number 1 says you shall finish the subdivision, or point number 2 is you take out 100% performance bond. So currently, everybody's circumventing 1 and 2 and going straight to 3, even though 3's not really protecting us or the citizens. So that's where we're placing a moratorium on number 3, basically forcing the hand to the first 2 that you see there.
That thing's so loud, it's probably-
Anybody have any discussion on that?
I got a question.
Okay, go right ahead, Mr. Latham.
So this would force developers to get a performance bond
Or complete construction.
Complete the
or
construction.
complete
Yeah,
construction?
they got, number one's complete construction, number two's performance bond. They can pick which option they prefer.
Would this come into play like, say a developer has a subdivision he's going to lay out and sell, lots on, and he completes it, but his plans are to build a second addition in the back, and that one has not started?
No, I don't believe that multiple phases, it would not affect that. If you were to build phase one in its entirety, they could go ahead and sell lots in phase one. Because then the intention is try to prevent a new home from being built and not having a proper road or proper utilities to it and things like that. We want to make sure that there's not a home sitting there waiting for someone to move in and they can't because the subdivision's not complete. So if that phase is completed so they can serve that purpose, that's what we're trying to achieve there. So the multiple phases, it would not affect that.
Any more discussion, questions? If not, vote.
Thank you.
I have one more question for you, right quick, while we're on this, rewriting these, you know, in these subdivisions, one of our biggest problem is flooding and drainage. Do any of our developers, which I'm sure none of them have, but why don't they have, retaining ponds built into these subdivisions to help catch, control, and slow down the flow of the water? That they're the ones making this flow of water go faster with these roads and the drainage they're putting in and things like that. And I know they don't want to do this because it takes up part of their subdivision, land that they could sell. But why aren't they required to make retaining ponds and to build drainage that is, with, you know, barriers and things to slow that water down, keep it from running so fast, and then we end up with the problem later on?
The proper drainage should be addressed in the plans, and we do have 2 or 3 subdivisions, maybe more, with retaining ponds that, you know, that they have implemented. Currently, DeSoto Parish does not require any retention. You know, the city of Shreveport, other entities will have, you know, certain storm events that you have to plan for, and they have to hire an engineer to design that retention and so forth. We do not have anything currently in DeSoto Parish.
Is that something you would think about putting into these new?
As we develop further, yes, I think we probably
I
should
would
look to
think
that
it
in the
needs to
future.
be, because like I said, we're inheriting these problems after the subdivision has been developed, and the developer, he trots right along on his way.
I'd have to research that a little bit, see how it pertains to subdivisions versus, you know, shopping centers are where you typically see that, like along Uri Drive, where you have your detention ponds or retention ponds out in front of that large concrete space, and where they've sped up the runoff, and now they need to slow it back down with that retention
Well,
pond.
they're doing the same thing in
Right.
these subdivisions. I mean, I understand, you know, what you're talking about, but the subdivision is doing the same thing. They're speeding up the flow of that water,
Right,
you know?
yeah, it's something we're definitely
Okay, thank you.
looking at in the new subdivision regulations. But that might be something also addressed in a parish-wide ordinance as far as development goes as well.
I'm all
Seem
for
like
it.
we could require that.
I'm all for it.
Even the old subdivisions are having those problems with drainage issues.
They
So,
called us.
you know, we need to look
All right,
at
that's all
all of
of,
it.
items for administrative,
Motion to
I'm
adjourn.
having a motion to adjourn. Mr. Parker has a motion, second.
Second.
Yeah.
Second by Mr. Ross and Ms. Burrell. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Budget, Budget and Finance Committee.
Call Budget and Finance Committee to order. Call for any additions and deletions to the agenda. Hearing none, any guest and public comments? Hearing none, Budget and Finance items. Item number 1, Authorize the president to sign a cooperative endeavor agreement with the town of Logansport and amend the budget in amount of $5,000 for help with the River City Fest.
So move. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote now. Motion passes. Authorize the president to sign a cooperative endeavor agreement with Fire District Number 1 and amend the budget in the amount of $2,500 for help with the 4th of July fireworks display.
So move. So move. Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fuller, second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion?
Where'd it be held at, Mr. Baker?
That's held in Logansport,
Logansport,
there
too.
on the river. Any further discussion? Please vote now.
Mr. Clark's supposed to be talking this up, man.
I'll wait. I'm not on the committee. He's not on the committee.
No, it don't matter. You should push us, though.
Item number 3 is to award the low bid for the vehicles that we have plans on buying this year.
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Trina
Second.
and a second by Mr. Ernell Jones.
Any low bids?
Any discussion? I have one question. What's the total amount?
It is, give me a look. It's at the very back of the page. 964,295, and our budgeted amount was 973,250. So it came a little bit under the budgeted amount.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote now. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Road committee, please. Is it?
Mr. Ernell.
Road committee will come to order.
Yeah.
Calls for addition and deletions. Hearing none, guests and public comments for the road committee. Okay, road items. Number 1, approve the E911 naming of the Chazon Private Drive off of Depot Road in Keachai and Florida Private Drive off of Cowboy Lane in Keachai.
Make motion.
Motion by Mr. Holmes. Second. Second by Mr. Fuller. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Okay, motion passes. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Holmes.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fuller and Mr. Raines. Any discussion?
On the
All in
adjournment.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
We want to adjourn.
Hey, yeah. Solid Waste Committee, please.
I'll call Solid Waste Committee to order. Call for any additions or deletions to the agenda. Hearing none, call for guests and public comments. Hearing none, solid waste items. Award the high bid for scrap metal.
So moved. Second.
Who made that? Mr. Parker, second by Mr. Jones. Discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When I saw this on the agenda, I called to see who had the bids, who did the bids, and who had the high bids. And the person that had the high bid, I really have a problem with it. from now, when we do accepting these bids, I think we need to know who doing the bid, because I most definitely have a problem with the person that has the high bid, and I'm not gonna be willing to vote for this person to get the job, because he's already taken from this parish and from the taxpayers a large sum of money. I don't think he should be even allowed to bid. I don't know if it's legal or illegal, but I do know he has already taken from the citizens of this parish, and I will not go along allowing him to come back and bid. I know they saying that he took care of his responsibilities. Well, that was without the jury's permission, because we certainly didn't ever vote on to give this person permission for a final bill. That was done, I don't know who did it, but the jury didn't. We did not vote to send a final bill to this person. So far as I'm concerned, they are not caught up. And I have evidence, because I've been looking into it from the jump, even before this started, because I had a problem with them getting over on the taxpayers. There's one thing about it, I'm about the taxpayers. And if you doing something that's not right, or you taking from the taxpayers, Ms. Berea gonna scream bloody murder. This man was allowed to pay $6,700 from 2019 to 2023. And Kashad Iron came in here, and in 2 months, they made, we got a thing for, nearly $30,000. So that tell you just how much money he was allowed to take from our taxpayers. And I'm not happy with it a bit. I'm not going with it. I mean, even after he did this, this person has been allowed to get away with so much, because honestly, he should have went to jail, because he was theft. That was clearly theft. It's wrong, and I'm sorry, but in the jury vote for this person to come in and bid again, just as wrong as he is, in my opinion. Because he took from the taxpayer, and it's our job to protect the taxpayer. That's what they elected us for. And I'm telling y'all now, I would not go with it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, please vote now. Motion passes. Number 2, discuss and take action on the purchase in the town of Stonewall for the purpose of construction a new compactor site.
So move.
Have a motion by Mr. Jones. I'll second it. Discussion?
I'd like to make an alternate motion.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make an alternate motion to defer this until after our election. We've got an election coming up for a tax that takes care of these compactor sites, and I'd like to defer this until we find out for sure if our tax passes.
Have a motion by Jimmy Holmes to defer. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Parker to defer.
Can I say something on that?
Yes.
No, I'm not on the committee. When is the election?
April 27th, I believe. So this would have to be deferred to the May committee meeting.
Okay. So these plots of land are actively for sale in a high marketable area. So when you vote for this, just remember that these two plots that we're getting ready to discuss may or may not be here in 2 months.
How much are those plots? How much are those plots?
One plot, the lowest bid price on one plot is, get back.
It was $375 for
Three-
one off of Stanley, and the one on 171 currently is between $405 and $475.
For the lots, for the lots.
Yes.
See what I'm talking about?
How much?
See what I'm talking, and y'all actually think that
The
they
lots,
gonna pass, for real?
the lots on Stanley are currently being, the asking price is $375.
375,000.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the lot, off of 171 is gonna be between 405 and 475. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say one more thing? The current compactor site that we have in Stonewall constitutes of 22 to 25% of our total weightage of all compactor sites. In my insurance agency alone, in the location that it's in that intersection, I have had 2 automobile accidents just in my agency alone since the start of 2024. So not only is it a high-trafficked area that constitutes 22 to 25% of the total weightage in the entire parish, okay, we also have a public safety problem at that intersection. So, and everyone knows the market price of Stonewall real estate is some of the highest in the parish. We currently do not own the compactor site in Stonewall. We lease it. There is a plot of land directly across the street from the compactor site that is for sale for over $1 million. It is on a corner lot on the main highway. The family doesn't want to lease that property to us. We're SOL. Just want to bring that up.
I mean,
Before you make your
I
decision.
understand what you're saying, but more than your constituents gonna have a problem with it, cause see, mine gonna say, why would we pay this kind of money for a compactor site in Stonewall? I got to hear what my constituents gonna say, cause it's gonna be a bunch of us, our constituents gonna have a problem with that. I can tell y'all that.
But
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Latham. And I know I've been there in the morning time sometimes, and it's bad situation at that particular intersection. But if we don't get the renewal for the trash compactor tax passed, if we don't get that tax passed, how are we gonna afford to pay for this? We're gonna be shutting compact sites down if this tax is passed.
This is my suggestion.
Right.
Discuss it in the regular meeting. If we decide to pass it with the stipulation of the tax passing on the vote.
That's the same thing. That's basically the same thing. With
Yeah.
the stipulation, we still gotta wait till the tax.
But let's go ahead,
No.
but then we would have to have a whole nother month to decide if we're gonna purchase it. So if it doesn't pass and it's completely dead, if it passes, we're ready to go. That's my point.
My point is, it ain't gonna pass, not with this. Do y'all actually think that the people of this parish will pass a tax and you talking about spending this kind of money in Stonewall? Make it make sense. Mr. Lake, make that make sense to me. These people not gonna pass no tax with us passing this, and they talking about spending this kind of money in Stonewall. Not no people from this area not gonna vote for it. I can tell you that. Which then y'all saying about closing these compactor sites and stuff. That landfill make enough money to sustain itself. It really does. Let's be honest with the citizens and quit trying to deceive these people. That landfill gonna take care of itself. We ain't gonna, if they don't pass it, we not gonna have to close no things down. Let's just be honest about it. I'm just had enough of deception and deceiving these people. That's how we ended up with this vote earlier, where you voted this. People not understand what they really voting on. But I'm gonna tell them. I'm telling y'all that now. I ran on being honest with the people. And honesty, that's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna let these people know.
And the honest truth is, we don't own the compactor site.
We don't own none of them.
We don't own too many of them, I don't think.
And this compactor site, this is almost 25% of the total volume goes to Stonewall right there at that intersection. If that family decides not to renew their lease, where's all that garbage and trash gonna go?
We'll find somewhere. Trust me. It ain't gonna cost that kind of money.
We've been trying to
They take a
find
long
somewhere.
drive to, next one.
Quite some time.
Richard?
Best thing they do is be the house-to-house pickup.
Richard?
Yeah, my concern is, I'm quite sure some more land in somewhere near Stonewall that's cheaper than that.
Not in the parish.
Why do we
Cheaper
have
than
to stay in the
$400 something
parish?
now?
Go to Keithville.
Come on,
Doesn't say we can't go to
Come on
Keithville
now.
and collect our trash.
I know land high up there, but.
Right across state line, parish line.
And it's
400
growing.
something, no.
Calling for the
Tell that
vote?
to the bear.
No,
That's all I want to say, thank you.
Mr. Parker?
the whole thing here, the situation, the way I look at it, if we postpone this or don't buy it or whatever, I believe, we've got nearly a year left, basically to the end of this year on that compactor site lease right now. And if the owners decide they don't want to lease to us, I believe we've got a compactor site on Linwood Extension. We got one down at Kickapoo, on Highway 5. We got one over at Frierson. It won't hurt the people of Stonewall to drive 10 miles to a trash compactor like the people in District 5 have to get to haul their trash.
Exactly. Mr. Parker.
10 miles?
I got one more.
I drive 8.
Got one more.
Yes, I know people in Pelican have to drive their foot.
Mr.
to
Latham?
compact the site.
On the Linwood site, how many compactors do we have on the Linwood site?
One,
How many dumpsters do we have on the Linwood site?
I believe we have 2 open tops there.
How many dumpsters do we have at the Stonewall site?
5,
How many compactors do we have at the Stonewall site?
2.
I don't think the people of Stonewall, I don't think the Linwood dump site will service the people of Stonewall very well.
I don't know how big it is. Can we add more stuff there? Or can we get more property at that site? We don't have to have a site in Stonewall for Stonewall residents to haul trash to.
Linwood is in Stonewall.
It's already
It's gonna
there.
have the
We've
same
already
market
got that
value
site.
there. It's gonna have the same market value on Linwood than it would in Stonewall.
Well, maybe we need to move it a little bit further south where the market value ain't quite so high.
Exactly.
Mr. Fuller?
What's the size of the one in Stonewall compared to the size of the one in Linwood? Are all of them pretty much the same size?
No.
Okay, so, like, if you got 5 at Stonewall, you can put 5 in Linwood?
No, they are
I'm
not
just
all.
saying.
Mr. Fuller,
they're not
they
the
are,
same size.
they
I
are
ain't
not
talking
the
the same
same
size.
size. They are not the same size.
Well, like I said, I'm ready to roll.
When Stonewall, if I may, when Stonewall has the most density, where the average house price is $300,000 a year, they're paying their fair share of taxes for a compactor site that is comparable to their needs. Now, if we have other compactor sites where people, south of the parish that they need, we should be able to give it to them, comparable to the volume that they deliver. Huh?
No, but
But I feel like roads and compactor sites is what the police jury does for its people, and that's why they pay taxes. And everybody should have a compactor site close to where they live, unless we provide weekly pickup, if
With
that's what
all
we
due
decide.
respect, everybody pay taxes, and since I've been looking over the tax
Everybody.
roll, some of these people that should be paying higher taxes is not. The tax assessor need to do a whole new review on these taxes, cause some of us are paying a lot of taxes when it ain't just the people that with the $300,000 home. You got people that own land and property. They paying just taxes galore.
We have,
I don't want to get into discussion on the tax issue and who pays taxes and don't pay taxes and who deserves what, but I will tell you, I have a problem with things like this right here, trying to buy property. And we just had a vote a few minutes ago that passed, and I don't know who all voted for it, but I voted against giving property away or selling it to the sheriff department.
Yep.
Before I came on this jury, we had property in Stonewall, and this jury body, which doesn't include everyone here,
Yeah.
voted
'Cause I
to
voted
give it
yes.
away,
They gave it
which
away.
later sold for $30,000. They gave it away.
Yep.
And I have a problem with giving away property and then having to turn around and buy high dollar property again. You know, that's property that we could have used for this very thing right here,
We'll see.
but it's all said and done.
Mr. Parker?
Before, let me make I guess a point. You know, when I first got on the jury, Mr. Calhoun donated the property for the highway. It's called Hurd Road. Can't think of the number, 5-something. 513. But he donated that. I guess because he liked me so much. But he donated that to us. And I was also able to get one down in the Oxford area. Now, we bought that one. But, you know, somebody want to donate some property to us, we'll build there.
Question's been called for. Y'all please vote now on the alternate motion.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody ain't working.
I do think Stonewall should have a,
Alternate motion passed.
do think Stonewall should, by all means, have a compactor site.
Not at that price.
Item number 3 is award the low bid for 2 roll-off trucks at the landfill. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, will you please vote now? Motion passes. A motion to adjourn.
Move.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Personnel item, please.
Personnel committee call to order. Is it any additional deletions to the agenda? Any guests or public comments? Personnel items. Approve the job description and position of engineering technician, construction supervisor.
So moved.
It has been moved in second. Any questions? No questions, please vote. Motion passes.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Personnel is adjourned. That's it? That's it, ain't it?
Thank y'all.
I hope you never need or want anything in the city of Mansfield.
Oh, that's
I
all
will
right.
not vote.